Hello, everyone. Welcome to Love in Action, a Valentine special with IHF. I am Darice, your host, and I'm so excited about today's conversation. The theme is love as an act of giving, dedication, and impact within IHF. But beyond that, it's February, guys, and this is the season of love. But today, we're just gonna go beyond just romance. It's not that we're not gonna talk about romance, but we're going to focus more about love and service, kindness and giving, especially within IHF. And lucky for me, I have beautiful, amazing, and lovely women with me as my guest. We have Athmar and Sasabal from Paris, we have Zinjo from Spain, and we have Diana from Akwa Ibom State in Nigeria. Thank you so much, guys. I'm so excited to have all of you join me. Can you please say hello to our listeners, guys?
Hello. Thank you so much for inviting us to this podcast. It's so interesting. I can't wait. Valentine's Day is a day we all love, pun intended. And I'm so glad we get to have a special speaking about important impacts within IHF and how love, which is something that we all understand, plays an important role within this organization.
Yeah, truly, Sasabal, you're right. Love plays a very, very big role in IHF. We're literally here because of love for people, for children, and for our fellow volunteers. Hi, Athma. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, good evening. I'm actually I'm actually talking to you from Paris, the supposed city of love. So I'm all about that. I'm sending you love my way, your way.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. I catch it. Thank you.
Yes, please catch it. Sending it to everyone. Sending it to myself. Sending it to everyone.
Sure, I'm going to do that. Thank you so much, Athmar. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. Hi, Zinjo. How are you doing? How is Spain this evening?
Hi, thank you for inviting me. And I'm in Spain, and it's raining and kind of like London, where I have been lived for 1 year.
I hope you're having a really not so cold day. How is the day like for you?
I think it is the rainy season, and it's actually quite cold, and I didn't expect that.
Please stay warm, okay? And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Diana. How are you? How is Nigeria today?
Hi, good evening. Thank you very much for having me. Nigeria, I would say Nigeria is okay. The weather is just hot, but I assure you, everything is fine.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Thank you so much, Diana. It's good to have you guys here join us.
Thank you.
Yeah, so before we start, we're gonna start with a fun question for everyone. Like Sasabal said, love is for everyone. Love is something that is easily accessible. Like you breathe love, you live love, you embrace, you feel it. It's a very beautiful word in itself. So what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word love? It can be anything. It can be a feeling. It can be a person. It can be an experience. Personally, when I hear the word love, it is Jesus Christ who comes to mind because he is my savior. But that's for me. So I'd like to hear what you guys think when you hear the word love. What just goes through your mind? So let's hear your thoughts.
I think automatically when I think of love, I think of people. Of course, the first people that I think of are my mother and my sister, who I, absolutely love unconditionally. And then I think, obviously, my closest friends and relatives. I think love, like you said, it's something that you can't control. And when I think of love, it's something that you can love deeply, you love fiercely, and because of love, you have all these different emotions. So you're happy because of your love, you're sad because of your love, you feel angry that someone did something to you because of the love that you have for them. So yeah, I automatically, the first thing that happens when I think of love is my family. So my beautiful sister, my wonderful mother, of course, and of course my extended family and friends. I love to be around them, and home is where they are. So that's how I feel.
Yes, that's what you're right. Family, my family, my friends, my siblings. I mean, I just love them, but I'm sure that they already know, so I can completely relate to what you're saying. And you're right. You're very right. Love is just something that when you hear it, it just does something to your heart. I mean, I think it's not just the heart, it's your whole body. You feel it. So thank you, Sasabo, for that. I'd also like to hear from you, Sidju. What do you think when you hear the word love? What comes to your mind?
Actually, when you mention love, it reminds me of a person who's one of the most important person in this world for me, and she she learns philosophies, and she's definitely the one who teach me what love is. And she used to say that love is like beauty. When men and women love each other, they might produce babies, but when humans love each other, they produce beauty. And it's in love that people embody some qualities that only belongs to God, like devotion and perfection.
Oh, there's something you said. You said devotion, and I think you're very, very right because sometimes people say, "Oh, I love you," and sometimes and you see that they say love but they're doing opposite. So that's, I think, for me personally, if you love someone, you're devoted to them, you listen to them, you care about them. So yeah, I like your response a lot, Zinju. I like your response. So let's also hear from Afma. Afma, when you hear love, what comes to your mind? What do you feel?
Everything. For me, love is everything, like you said. Love has many facets. I think there's, like you said, there's the spiritual, devotional love that you think of religion, spirituality, God. Then there's also the family. There's my mother, for example, my sister. Then you also have love for your country, love for your community, love for your neighborhood and society. And then again, you have love, like romantic love relationships. And I think there's actually in the brain, you can physically see love. It's a chemical reaction, but it's also things that you can see people loving each other. There's acts of service, there's quality time, there's different love languages that you can see in front of you physically. And also a way, it's also a way to express yourself. So I think again, love is just so complex, and I think in English there's only one word for love with so many dimensions to it, but even in other languages there's different loves and different words for that type of love.
Yeah, Ahmed, there's something you said that I picked. You said expressive. It's close to the same things in just said. Love is expressive. You cannot fully, I mean, like when you love something, when you love even food, we love food, and when you see food, your body just okay, like this. So love is very expressive, and I think I've learned something from your response as well. So thank you for that. Let's hear from you, Diana. What do you think about love? What does love do to you?
Okay. Okay. I think everybody else has mentioned the love of family, which I feel like most times it's just normal that your family love you because they don't have a choice most times. So I think for me, one of the love that warms my heart, I would say, is the love from people that you don't even know, from meeting random strangers who just show you kindness. I feel like, okay, number one, love is kindness for me. From random strangers who don't even know you, but they just feel like they want to go out of their way to help you or render help or whatever. And then also love for me when it comes to romantic relationships. I feel like that's such a beautiful love that this person doesn't even know you from anywhere. And then they fall in love with you, and then they come with the full package, the thoughtfulness, the care. I feel like that's really love for me. And then the love for food. I love food so much. So that's just what love means to me.
Oh, I like the part you said, love for people that you don't know, because when you bring it to the organization we work for, we're working for the communities, for the children, and some of us here we've not even met them, but we're just doing this out of the love of them. Thank you so much. I mean, like, I really love this topic because you get to see how people see love, which is a very interesting topic in itself. And I know that today's conversation is going to be so special. So we're going to explore how love shows up in unexpected places, like Diana mentioned, through act of kindness, through service, and through giving. So let's start now. Um, so let's talk about, we're going to, I know that I've asked about like what love means to us, but I know that we've all said different definition. We've said emotion, we've said action, and but I also love to hear from each of you. How do you personally define love? Like, if someone asks you now, like, what is love? I know that we've said family, we've said food, we've said romantic relationship, we've said people we don't know, we've said a lot, but what is your own definition of love? Not the one that the society perceives that it is. You personally, how do you define love?
Well, it's difficult because again, I think there's different forms of love, and I think the issue that Athmar brought up as well is that in English we have only one definition. One word, one term for love, and it's used sometimes quite flippantly, quite unnecessarily. Of course, I'm a person who does this as well. I love my fries. I love my car. I love my purse that I just bought, something like that. And what you mean is that you like it, you enjoy it, it brings you joy. But that's not what love is truly to me. I think that in certain other languages, Norwegian, for example, they have specific terms for love that means a love of a close one, a love of a soulmate, love for your family, and then liking certain items, for example. So I think personally for me, love is a feeling. Love is a deep-rooted, true affection that you could feel in your bones. It's a feeling in your stomach. It's when you blush and you get all warm when you think about the person that you love. You can't do that for an acquaintance. You can't really do that for a person that you don't really know or don't have much affection for. So for me, it's an intense feeling of deep affection. So that would be my definition of love. It's I think we need to be careful with the use of it because it's almost like a sword. It can be a weapon. It could be dangerous. So we should be careful with how we use the word love. But yeah, that's for me. It's a feeling. You'll know it when you feel it, and you can't fake it. And I think that a person can never pretend to love.
Possible, like what you just said, people pretending to love, because I think I've been there before, and I think you're right. I think with love, when someone loves you, like you say, you would know yourself, and with the pretense, it just would show. And I hope that our listeners learn something from there, because I have, like, I just listened to you and I just thought for a bit, okay, okay. But thank you so much, Sashable. I really like your opinion, your view, and I think that it has given me something to think over as I go to bed tonight. Thank you so much. Zinju, let's hear from you.
Yeah, because you are asking a very personal understanding. So for me, I'm also learning, and it's a quite difficult word for me because I just found that I have a tendency, a desire to always stay with someone I love, and I want to spend all my time with them, and I want to hear their loving words and sweet words. But I gradually realized that love is not a desire, it's a understanding, is to help each other to to achieve what they want instead of what they want, what I want them to do for me. But is the thing that I can do for them.
Oh, yeah. Yes, Ginger, there's something you said that when you love someone, you want to get to hear from them. You want to make sure that they're okay. You want to hear the nice things they have to say. And I think you're very correct, because I've been in that situation before, and I think I knew at the point I had two people, and I from your opinion, I used that logic, and I could tell who I actually loved by, okay, the little things they do. Let's say they do two identical things, and I'm like, okay, this one, like, I feel something more from this person. And then, when you look at it, they're doing the same thing, but this person, it just means more coming from this person. And I think that is love, when you feel it in your heart, like, okay, something like that. So yeah, thank you so much, Zenju, for your opinion. It's very, very relatable. Let's also hear from you, Athma.
Absolutely, I agree with all of the different definitions that we've evoked so far. For me, I think, again, it's my soul. My soul knows that I love someone. I think you can be infatuated with certain people or infatuated with a job and think that you love it, but only time can tell. Like I said before, I know love is also biological. You can see it in the brain. Scientists have actually seen people who love each other. They've taken couples and measured it, and they can see it in the brain, versus people who are infatuated. So again, there is that science aspect to it. But for me specifically, again, yes, I feel it in my soul, but I also like the action part of it. I think, I don't know if anybody's familiar with the book, The 5 Love Languages. I know a lot of women probably have read it. But there's a different types of love, and you can express it differently. And some people have to see it in their way in order to perceive it as love. So for example, there's quality time, there's acts of service, there's physical touch, words of affirmation, and gifts. And there's different people who will say I love you by showing you, let's say, cooking for you or shopping for you or donating their time to you. Whereas other people will see love as you saying I love you. So again, there's so many different aspects. For me, it's acts of service. And since we're also speaking about IHF, I think you can say I love you and show people how much you care about their society, about their country, about the world through volunteering. I think it's the ultimate act of service and love.
Oh, Athma, I have a question for you. I
Yes.
What's your love language?
So I have two that are pretty equal. So it's quality time. I need to spend time with the people that I love and talk with them, of course, and acts of service, for sure. It's all in the action. Gifts and stuff, that's not my love language at all. I don't really care about it. Other people might find it more important, but for me, it's really those two.
Oh, I see. I see. I see. That's amazing. I like act of service as well, because sometimes people can just say things and they're doing the opposite of it, and you're like, I thought you loved me. Why are you like saying one thing and you're doing the next?
Exactly. And then there are people who don't say too much. They don't tell you I love you, but they will buy you your favorite vegetables and fruits and make you a beautiful meal, your favorite meal, or they will go out of their way to kind of show you that they love you. They can hug you, they can kiss you and everything. So again, I think people respond differently to it. So there's no one size fits all.
So Asma, how did you know that act of service and quality time was your love language?
I think I always knew. I know that there are tests and stuff like that, but for me, I always knew. I think that's how we also show love in our family. We're also, I grew up with a lot of strong women as well around my family, so we're very talkative and we communicate a lot, but we always have to spend time together. If I don't spend time with the people that I love, again, it could be family, it could be friends, romantic, whatever it is, I just feel like I don't know that person. And for me, it's like a waste of time.
Oh. Okay, so still on the topic of love language, I'd really want to hear what everyone's love language is because like Athma has said, act of service, it can also be related to our work in IHF because now we're volunteers, we're working together. So let's say Athma is or maybe she was supposed to give me something, or we were supposed to work together, and she's like, "Oh, Darice, I am so stressed, I couldn't do it." And I'm like, "You know what? Don't worry, I got you, babe." And I do it for her. I now know.
Exactly. You got it. That's probably your love language. Yeah.
So you see, like I now know that if I do that, it would mean so much to you. That is why I would love to hear everyone's love language. Sasbo, what's your love language?
I'd say, I mean, both giving and receiving, because I think that there's certain people who their love language might be different in terms of maybe they say I love you a lot, but they don't need to hear it as much. They have another receiving love language. Personally, I agree with my sister. I mean, I do love quality time and all of that, but I think the love language that I most relate to, I guess, would be acts of service. I feel that, there's certain days that I come home after, because I'm still a student. So sometimes I come home after back to back 6 hours of classes and, transportation. And I've been in the train for 2 hours and I get home and I'm cold and tired and hungry. And then my sister makes a beautiful, hot, warm meal. And I just feel the love. And obviously we always tell each other that we love each other. But I feel like that means even more than just okay, love you. Because again, for some people, it has to be communication. You have to say it. But again, it's very easy to say words, but it's hard to put in the effort and work. It's like IHF, the ultimate act of service, as Athmar wonderfully put it. You could say that you support education in the world, that you support marginalized either their communities or children who maybe aren't as lucky to have certain schools in certain areas. And yes, you care about children being educated, and it's easy to say that, but you showing the ultimate act of service by volunteering and showing that you care, I feel like actions speak louder than words. So yeah, my love language would be acts of service. And I do love to show my family and my friends that I remember that they don't like coconut in their desserts. So I don't put coconut. And I remember that they said that, they liked this type of fruit or this type of food, or they were busy so they can't run errands and I'll do it for them. So I believe that that's my love language as well, is that I think acts of service is probably going to be a popular one, but I think it's the most important in my view.
Yeah, it is. Surely it is. I think the reason why it is because, like you've said, you can connect it to everything. Act of service, you can connect it to your work, to your family, to your friends, to strangers. It's just one of the love language that you can show to everyone. It doesn't have to be for a specific person, and that's what makes that one really, really unique. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, Asimo. Zinju, what's your love language?
I think I totally agree what has been introduced, and I also think that instead of words, I think action and efforts are essential because words are easy. And for me, I think I'm kind of selfish, to be honest, and I always want to take something from others. So it is I think love is to act, and you're willing to sacrifice to others for others, and to make some efforts to do what they want you to do.
Yes, Andrew. Yeah. Oh, so yours is act of service too?
Yes.
Okay, I think it's also one of the love languages that requires so much sacrifice, because sometimes, Saswell and Asma said, okay, it was Saswell that said she would come back from school feeling tired, and her sister Asma would just cook a very nice meal for her. When you look at it, sometimes Asma might also be feeling exhausted herself, but she's like, oh, I love my sister. Let me do this for her, and that's sacrifice. So, thank you so much, guys. Diana. Personally, what does love mean to you? How do you define love? And also, what's your love language?
Okay, I feel like everyone has defined what love really means to me at the end of the day. But I would say love also means thoughtfulness in a nutshell. The ability to actually think about this person. Okay, in what way will my actions affect the next person that I claim to love? Or what can I do to make their life better? What can I give to them to make them happy? I feel like it's just the thoughtfulness that comes with the whole act itself, be it the gifting, the act of love, the fact that, oh, you even had the thought of it, and then you specifically think of what will help me or what will make me feel good. So that's just what love means to me. And then when it comes to my love language, aside act of service, which I like because I don't like giving it out to people. So people actually give out of service to me. It actually moves me to a very large extent. I also personally, I like gifting. If I love you, I will find a way to gift you, no matter what. So I feel like I should also be able to receive gifts as well. So that's also tops my love language.
Okay, so in IHF, okay, let me bring it to IHF because we're working together. So maybe I'm trying to find an example to maybe give you something that you'd like, because the reason why I asked for our love language is to help each other out, to express love to one another in the way that we like. So for instance, I'm trying to see what's something that I can do for you. Okay, maybe we have a meeting with the CEO and you know she loves to talk and you didn't get some points. And I'm like, oh, Diana, I saw that you were struggling in the meeting, but I took some notes and I just want to give that to you. Do you think that would make you really smile and be like, okay, that is,
That
do you
would
think
actually
that
warm my heart. It would warm my heart so much. It will. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do something like that for you one of these days, okay?
Okay. Thank you in advance.
Thank you as well. I'm glad the next topic is cultural perspective on love and giving. Gladly we're all people from different cultures and backgrounds. So I do know that different cultures have different ways of expressing love, and some emphasize words, others action, some gift giving. Sasabo, how do you think cultural backgrounds shape the way we see love and giving? And do you think that cultural backgrounds shape anything, or a person is just a person? It doesn't matter where they come from.
Oh yes, of course. I do agree. I do agree for sure about of how cultural backgrounds impact you in general. For me personally, I mean, I see this every single day because I go to a school that is very much international. So we have people from around the world. We're in Paris, but we have lots of Americans, South Americans. We have lots of people from China, all around Europe, different countries in Africa, from the Middle East. And so we have a lot of different backgrounds. And I see it especially with the love of friendship. And so, for example, in France, I mean, you could also apply this to family and friends, but in France, you do la bise, which is basically the two kisses on the sides of the cheeks. I'm sure you've seen probably movies or shows.
Yeah.
And it's just a greeting. It's basically like in the United States, you maybe give a hug. So there's certain signs of affection. And in France, it's not necessarily that you are in love with or you're really, really close to a person if you kiss them on the cheeks. It could also be a friend of a friend, a stranger, that is friends with your friends. You go to a family gathering or you just greet them. So it's a form of greeting. So it's not as serious. But my German friends or my friends from Scandinavia. So I have a few people that I know from Norway or Sweden. For them, they really don't like that. That's too much affection. If you kiss a person, it's a family or a loved one, a close loved one, a husband or a wife. And for them, that's too much affection. And so I do think that showing affection as well is something that is different depending on the culture you're from. I have a friend who is Chinese and her boyfriend is Portuguese and French. And they recently went to China together to meet her family. And he is in love with her so much. And he would always try to kiss her and hold her hand and hug her from behind. And all her family was looking at her very strangely. Why is he kissing you in front of all of us? This is very strange. Can't he do that, behind the closed doors and when you're at home? And he just wanted to show that he loves her. So it was more of a funny little anecdote. She didn't take it personally, and he said, okay, I don't want to offend anyone. But for sure, it really depends. And sometimes I feel like people are very talkative, or they maybe do acts of service, or they say things like, oh, I love this person. Oh, I would love to grab a coffee with you. And they don't really mean it. They're just being polite. And in different countries, you don't say that unless you really want to be friends. It's not a politesse a form of engagement. And so I do think that culture plays a fact into everyday life. And when you do travel, you notice that. I have a lot more stories as well. When you meet a person from Italy and they're very talkative and they touch you a lot, you might think, is this person flirting with me? Is this person in love with me? But no, that's just the way Italians are. And I'm sure probably Sinju has a lot of stories from Spain as well. I know the Spanish are very loud and very loving, and they talk a lot with their hands. So I'm not sure if you had any culture shocks as well when you went to Spain.
I just been Spain for like 1 month, so I haven't made any observation in Spain, but I do feel some culture shock when I'm in London. So, for example, I found that Western people, like people from United Kingdom and France and etc., they're really they're really used to expressing their affections and using words and gestures like hugging, and that is not very common. And when I first arrived in United Kingdom, I just felt I kind of surprised, like every people, they just hug each other and they even kiss each other, and I kind of feel this strange. And but I'm from China, so I think in Asian culture, we don't like to express affection in a direct way, but that does not mean we don't love each other. For example, I found that parents from East Asian, often some of them, and still willing to support their adult children, and that is not quite common in Western countries. But they often emphasize that sacrifice, like even you are grown up, I still willing to pay for you. But they always mention that. And I think in a subconscious level, Asian people kind of think that suffering and pain is a essential part of love, because they always emphasize that what I have done for you. But in Western countries, I don't think people like a more lighter weight, and they just want to feel happy, make sure everyone feel happy and feel being loved in this relationship.
Zindu, I think your culture, Japanese, is a bit close to Africa, because over here, I think if you show affection and love in public, it is very much frowned on. Like, I don't think you can try it. I don't know. I can't think of any country in Africa that, maybe there is, but the ones that I know, like, I'm Nigerian, I'm in Kenya, I don't think I've even seen people really hug like that, like really, really hug on the road. They always like keep it just keep it cute. Sometimes it just maybe shake hands. It's mostly shake hands. And with the I think it affects me as a person, because I've also known someone that was very he was from the West, and he liked to show love like very loudly, and because of where I come from, it just kind of didn't work for me. And so I kind of agree with what both of you are saying, and it's nice to see these things from different perspective. And talking about perspective, let's also hear from Afma because she's in Paris, and I know that Paris is the city of love, and I can imagine how it will be, how it will be.
Yeah.
So Afma, tell us, how is it like? How is it like currently, like building up to Valentine's Day on Friday? I know that it's might be crazy. Just let us on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see too many balloons or hearts around here. I mean, I've seen a lot of perfume commercials, and I think a lot of people are trying to buy maybe chocolates, but it's not that big here in France. Interestingly enough, it's more of an American, I would say, North American holiday, Valentine's Day. So I don't see it as a major holiday here at all. I think maybe some couples might celebrate it, but I actually asked a lot of people, and they didn't really plan anything. So no, there's no parade, there's no nothing. And interestingly, I think the reason why people believe that Paris is a romantic city and the city of love is actually because of the story of Eloise and Abelard, which are, star-crossed lovers. He was a philosopher, and at the time he was a monk, and she was his student, and they fell in love, and that's basically where a lot of the myths of Paris being the city of love came from. They had a tragic love story, so obviously it's not it's not good for Valentine's Day, but that's actually the reference. But like everybody has been talking about in terms of love, I think yes, culture plays a huge impact on the way that I think we express love. I don't think that that love is strange to any of us. I think that every human being wants love and wants to feel special in love, if that means familial love or romantic love or love in their society. I think it's just human nature, and I do believe that we broached the subject of expressing love through kissing and hugging and greetings, respect. I know that there's certain cultures, we're part Moroccan on our mom's side, and also a sign of respect and love is to greet your mother. We grew up with that. That was a habit that was just normal for us to wake up in the morning and kiss our mothers. The same thing with our grandmothers. It's a sign of respect and love. Yet for some people, they might find that a bit bizarre. And then the same thing even with gift giving. There's some people who believe that romantic partners should be buying you things all the time. And yet in many cultures, gift giving is more of a reciprocity. It could also be something of a one-up. Someone gave me a gift, so I'm going to give them a gift to show them I have money. And it's not about love. It's not about acts of service. It's about, okay, I'm going to show them I have the money, and I'm going to show them that I can put them in debts, and I can do it too. So again, it's also about intention. So I believe that that's also one of the hallmarks of love, is also about good intentions, generosity, and authenticity.
Oh, Asma, I just before I say something else, let me just say it. So, Asma, you're trying to tell me that if I come to Paris, I'm not gonna find love because that was the last option for me. Because Paris.
You wanted one answer and Afma didn't give it to you. Yeah.
Oh my God, guys!
No.
I don't think so. I mean, people have this idea that French men or Italian men are romantic. No. Men are men all over the world. Honestly, if you get a good man, no matter where he's from, he's a good man. He will love you. But no, I don't think so.
Oh my God, Sasibo, you are there. Just give me a little bit of hope, please. Because your girl is out here dying. Just a little bit of hope, please. Just tell me something different from what
I think you'll love this city. I mean, I feel like you would love the city, the food. You can go into the bakery. So I mean, it's the love of being. I guess if you travel with a family or a family member or a friend, and you could easily find love. But I feel like traveling is also opening up your eyes. And so when you come to Paris, I hope all of you do, and we can welcome you. When you go to Paris and you're underneath the Eiffel Tower and you see the beauty of the glittering lights underneath the stars, and you have a delicious pastry in your hand, I think you'll understand what love is. Again, I think that we romanticize things, and funnily enough, French people don't think of Paris as the city of love. It's Venice. So Venice in Italy, people think of that as the city of love. So in I don't know how, again, it's, you know, through myths and urban myths and stories that France and Paris have been placed as the city of love. I think it is a beautiful city and everyone should come. But you won't necessarily find love here that you won't find it in another place. So sorry to disappoint you, Darice, but I mean, I'm sure you'll love it here and we would love to have you. But yeah, you won't just like get out of the airport and then you'll be welcomed by a man in a beret holding a baguette being like, Darice, this is for you. So no, unfortunately.
Oh my god, you just burst my bubble. But it's good that you did it down to in what I have. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Diana, I know that you could easily relate to my own view because we're both from the same place. So in your own opinion and what you've seen, do you think that culture like affects how we see love?
I would really say yes. Although I haven't really gone out much to see how other people actually do love. But from the movies and everything else I get to experience, I feel like it is such a culture shock for me, because in Nigeria, you cannot see two lovers openly hugging themselves on the road and kissing and showing all such affection. But over there, it feels like in other countries, like a normal thing. Nobody even look at you. People are like, they feel like you're doing the very normal thing by showing affection to your lover or your sister that you love her or something. So I feel like the culture actually shapes how we show people that we love them. It's such a huge factor. But then I think the hallmark is that everyone knows that, okay, they know when it is genuine love and they know when it is not. I think that's just the hallmark for me, I would say.
Yeah, I can relate to you. That's why I wanted to go to Paris, but Sasbal and Athma has just they've
Hollywood. I think that's completely different. That's Hollywood movie is shaping our vision of love.
Yes, Hollywood and K-dramas, they've just, oh my god, I don't
And
even want to.
Nollywood too. You guys have Nollywood, Nigeria.
Yeah, we do.
No.
But then we don't actually show as much as Hollywood does. You can't even compare.
Yes,
even in the
but
movies,
still
you can't even
romance.
compare.
Yeah.
But then maybe that's also I mean, an issue, because let's say a person because Sinju as well, I totally agree. I have a lot of friends who are Chinese as well, and they've even said that, let's say, their parents, the way they would show affection, or their significant others or their friends would show love in a different way. So if a person that watches a movie that is, let's say, American or French or English, and it's a completely different way that their parents would tell them, I love you, you know, I love you, Athma, I love you so much. And if you're from a different culture, and acts of service is the love language, or you wouldn't necessarily say those with words, you would show the affection in a different way, maybe the person would question, do they really love me because I saw this movie or I heard that in this country. So I think it's important to also understand that cultural backgrounds do shape the way that we show affection, and we receive affection the same way as well. So we shouldn't be ashamed if we come from a country as well that maybe public displays of affection aren't common. You not kissing your husband in the street doesn't mean that you don't love him. It just means that maybe you're it's not something that you would do. It's you love your privacy, you enjoy your privacy, and it's something that you show behind closed doors. And it's your business how you show your love. Again, like we've all said, that it doesn't remove from the love factor. The way that you love, it's very personal, and it doesn't, no one should be able to tell you that you're loving wrong, because everyone loves in a different way.
Yes, first of all, I completely agree with you because, like now with the emergence of the like social media where people put their business out there, I mean, there might just be someone from one
Mm-hmm.
part of the world looking at it and saying, "Oh my God, my partner doesn't, my mom, my brother doesn't do this thing to me." Doesn't mean like they will start questioning the love. So I like the point that you raised because I've also learned it because I think I've done this thing before where I just saw something online and I just brought it back, not knowing that it's not really the same. It might not work because of there. I mean, there are different people, they're raised differently. It's okay, it works for them. So instead of just embracing what I have, I want what they have. I really, really like your points as well, and I hope that our listeners do. But let's kind of connect love and humanitarian work because we're volunteers in IHF and we're working with the children, with the communities, with volunteers. I mean, we love to see love in action every day. For the fact that we're here, it's like Afman Sasibo said, it's okay, I think all of us agree to it. It's act of service. For me, I see love in the little things because I see the children like when you help them with something and they just smile at you, or when volunteers here they go the extra mile to help you. I'm sure that some of you are familiar with Cassis. There's just sometimes that he does something really nice to me, and or sometimes he just says thank you. I think I can attribute that to love and service, which is very, very powerful. So, and the question is now, how has working with IHF changed your view of love and giving?
Well, IHF has been very, very illuminating in seeing how different people come together for one common goal, and that common goal is to see the education of children around the world that they don't know um, uh, be made easier and be made possible. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, like we've said in previous podcasts, my family has always been very heavily involved in volunteering and giving back to the community. I think it's incredibly important. You don't necessarily need to know people, but let's say we've always been, in food pantries. We've been giving back to the children of, our community to help them do events and have fun during the summer festivities. But also IHF. I mean, it was absolutely amazing to see that people who are in Nigeria, in Kenya, in South Africa, in Indonesia, in California, around the world. And with that, we haven't necessarily met each other. We haven't necessarily met the children that are in these centers, but we are so passionate. And this passionate, again, is a feeling. And I think that the humanitarian aspect has two pillars to it: love and compassion. It's very, very important. And I don't think it's possible to be a part of the humanitarian sector without having this love and empathy. I have a professor who's lived for a very long time. He's 78, almost 80 years old, and he has been in the most conflict-ridden and poverty-stricken countries in the world. And he said that without empathy, it means nothing. I mean, he's met refugees who were kicked out of, after the genocide in Eastern Europe in the 90s. And he said, I would hug them. I would hug the refugees as they were kicked out of their country, and they would cry in my arms. And he said it wasn't just about placing people from one country to another country and being very technical and mathematical and saying, this is the amount of people that need this blanket and this bottle of water, and just go over there and we really don't care what happens to you. It's no, we love you and you're welcome here, and we want you to be warm, and we want you to find your family, and we want you to have a place in this world because you matter. And so I think that IHF has just been very eye-opening to see that people who exist like you, Darice, like you, Athmar and Sinju and Diana as well, people like you exist who do this not for money. They don't do it for recognition. And maybe IHF isn't known in every household around the world, but you guys wake up every day, despite that fact, to put in your time, which is something you can never get back. You can get back money, you can get back resources, but time is something that once it's gone, it never goes away. And the fact that you've put in these hours and you show up and you do work without getting paid, without being recognized, is absolutely amazing. And I see that there are wonderful people that exist. There's hope in the world, because sometimes I know we like to be very pessimistic and say, everyone's corrupt, everyone's a terrible person, everyone's in it for something. And I think that the existence of IHF itself shows that there are people in this world who genuinely care about others, even if they've never met them, and who are willing to show that through an act of service that is volunteering.
Well, first of all, I also have a follow-up question for you based on what you've said, and I think it would be the same follow-up question for everyone when they share their view. You're talking about, because you're also doing the same thing, so we also appreciate you because you're in school, you're doing a lot, and you even talked about taking out time to go to the Jakarta Center. So I think that you're giving so much. So now the question is, I'm trying to see how to opposite the question. So is there any moment at IHF where when you truly felt love personally, like maybe something did something nice to you? Because I know that you are doing something nice for IHF. So have you received that kind of love back?
Honestly, I mean, thank you so much for that. I've only been here for a few weeks because I've only joined since January. But I think the fact that everyone's making sure that I'm so welcome, and also everyone that's in the group chat constantly, the fact that whenever I ask questions, even in the beginning, when I had my interview, the emails I received, anytime I had any sort of question, people were so quick to jump and be like, yes, this is what I can do for you, this is how I can help. Even yourself, I mean, I called you because I wanted some information regarding the Kenya Center. Aniekeme is constantly in the group chat, always making sure that we're okay, we understand everything. I've texted him so many times to say, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't go to the weekly meeting because I have a class. And he says, absolutely no problem, we have it recorded, and if you have any questions. And so I think it's this caring and respect that I've received even during my short period of time, that people are so understanding. Like you said, I'm a student, and there's certain days that I can't make certain meetings, or I'm busy, so I can't, let's say, see certain texts. And the fact that everyone's been so accommodating and respectful, despite this, has been absolutely amazing for me. So that's what I've noticed in the beginning so far. And yes, thank you so much. I do feel very appreciated by you all as well. So it really warms my heart, and it makes me even more motivated to work and give even more.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you to you as well. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. I think I've also learned a lot from you. You are very patient, because I'm one of the people that was chatting with you on LinkedIn. I know that I stressed you guys a lot, and I don't think I actually followed up that much, but you guys were so patient, and honestly, I really, really appreciate you, Salsabel, you and your sister Athma. Let me go to Athma. Okay, it's supposed to be Zinju, but since I mentioned Athma, is there any time in IHF when you truly felt love in action? That's the follow-up question, and you're also going to talk about how working with IHF has changed your view of love and giving.
Thank you so much. As Salsabel mentioned, I think in our family, we've always volunteered, and I know that my mom used to have this expression, she says it all the time, that giving to others actually makes you empathetic. And it's by volunteering, helping other people with no reciprocity, meaning that you don't get anything in return, will always soften your heart. It will soften your soul. And that's a habit that I've always had in my life as well. And it's also an expression that I stand by. And I think that joining IHF again, I joined recently, but I think it expanded my definition of love. I love the strangers that I meet every week. I now love the people in my group chat. I now love the videos that I receive of the kids at the different centers all over the world. And I think that many times, especially in this day and age, we quantify everything. Everything has a category, it has a number. And I think that people feel like love is also restricted. It's like, oh, you can't give too much. And I don't I don't believe that. I think that love is almost like an ocean. It's ever flowing, and I think that it continues. And I feel like I have love like an ocean in my soul. And I think that IHF also, again, expanded that. I will say that feeling so welcomed by everybody, that has made me feel loved. It's by the questions that I can ask. It's I feel safe. I don't feel embarrassed when I ask or sometimes re-ask the same questions because I'm a little confused. And then, of course, I know Grandma Carol as well. The way that she speaks to you using beautiful language, she calls me sweet love. She calls everybody sweet love. She uses just expressions that just makes you feel so special. And I think that that's also, again, that's just human nature to want to feel like you are someone and you are participating. And again, having just IHF with so many people, so many members we've never met, and I hope that we maybe will meet sometime in this life. But at the same time, even if we don't, just having this connection of joining IHF, having this community, and doing our best is just enough. It shows love.
Oh, Asma. I mean, like you've just been giving praises. Honestly. You've just been giving so much praises to us, but I think that we should be the ones giving you the praises because you just came in, both of you, and it's like no one, I don't think people would really, really understand that you've just been here for a short period of time, and that I think that you actually do more hours than the hours that you put that you're going to do, and no complaints, with a smile, always showing up, turning up to practice or whatever Aniekeme say. So it's all thanks to you guys, and I'm glad that you also feel loved from IHF. So it's really, truly, really nice. Thank you so much, two of you. Thank you so much, Zinju. I'm also going to ask you the same question, which is um have you felt, is there any moments in IHF where you truly felt love? That's the follow-up question, but the real question is, bringing it to IHF, has working with IHF changed your view of love?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I feel a more abstract and broad kind of love, and I am experiencing that in the organization, because it is difficult sometimes to be a volunteer, because I have to devote my time and just make a lot of efforts. But personally, I don't know the people who I am volunteering for, but but I as a person, I believe that they should have a better life, and as a human being, I have the responsibility to help them. And I also share this same belief and ideal with the people I'm working with, and I totally feel totally feel a broad and abstract, like, love between human being, instead of although I don't know anybody personal.
Oh, Zinju, I'm really sorry that you don't, but you know me, Darice. I might not really be that 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 frequent in the podcast because I am now not at Center GOD, so the time is. But before, maybe last year, I was very, very consistent there. But you know Athma, you know Sasabo, you know Aniekeme, you know Diana. With time, you would get to know everyone, and I'm really, really sure that you would love it here. And we really appreciate all the work that you are doing. I mean, being here, you should probably be eating, be, I don't know, watching a movie or whatever you like, but you're volunteering this, and it's not going to waste. It's not going to waste. All of the little things that you do, it somehow is helping someone, even someone just listening to this podcast and hearing your voice and everything that you say, it's soothing. So um with time, you're going to warm up and get to know everyone. I'm sure that you're going to have really nice experiences. Sindhu, thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I'm really happy, and I also feel being loved by this individual, you know, in the organization.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. We love you so much, Sindhu. We love you so, so much. You're super amazing, and we're glad that you're here with us. I'm so pleased to meet you. Thank you so much. So we're going to go to the next topic, which is talking about Valentine. I mean, like, I know that we've likened it to romance lots of time, but we know that it's usually seen as a day for couples, but I know that personally love isn't just about romance. So if we could redefine Valentine's Day, Sasipo, what would it represent? So if we want to look at it from outside the romance, the flowers, the giggles, the everything, the butterfly, what would it represent for you?
I think there's some people who find Valentine's Day unnecessary, and I do see that side. You shouldn't just buy flowers for your loved one, or you buy them chocolates just because it's Valentine's Day. It could be a helpful reminder though, and sometimes you need to set aside some, like a person's birthday. You should maybe ideally have birthday cake anytime during the year if you want, but it's just an excuse. I do think that in our family as well, we love to celebrate. And so we celebrate everything. We celebrate Cheese Day. There is a Cheese Day. There's a National Cheese Day here in France. So on Cheese Day, we eat lots of cheese. I think Valentine's Day, we think of just a day of love and a day of festivities. So we would do something fun together with loved ones. I know a lot of my friends are going to call either their significant others or their family or just girlfriends. I'm celebrating with my family. And so I think it's just a day to remember to remind us that how much we love each other. I think we do it quite often, but I mean, my sister is going to make a delicious meal as she always does. But this is when it's going to be more, I guess, focused on Valentine's Day. I'm making a dessert. We're probably going to watch a wonderful movie and just be around each other, do activities. And so again, I think it's not unnecessary. I feel like some people buy into the commercialization of Valentine's Day or are too obsessed with what am I going to do for Valentine's Day because it's the most important day that matters. Not really. I mean, I think it's important to remember that you love your loved ones, but I just try to focus on this simple thing. So what does Valentine's mean to me? It means just an extra day to remember how much I love my family, how much I love my friends. I'll just even text my friends, I love you, happy Valentine's Day, and that's it. Doesn't need to have a greater importance than that.
Yes, possible. So let's say, for instance, now there is someone that is listening to these and he or she feels left out. Oh my God, I feel alone. I know that you've talked about love for family, love for friends. So what specific advice would you say to that? Like, you're just imagine that you're speaking to that person and you want them to feel inclusive, you want them to feel better. So what's that word that you would say to them?
Honestly, I mean, don't feel bad. You don't need to feel bad about not doing something for Valentine's Day. I mean, I think that, like we said, doing something for others will result in a feeling of happiness and love for ourselves. So let's say Daniel, who lives by himself in an apartment and can't see his loved ones at all, and he has no friends with him, wants to feel something. I think for Valentine's Day, maybe go out, maybe go to your local charity, maybe go to your local community, maybe do something nice for a random stranger. I think that show an act of love. I mean, I know people want to receive a lot of love. I understand. I love receiving love, but I think there's what you give out into the universe, you will receive. And so I think that just buy something, give something random to a kid. I remember when I was younger, my friend and I used to the roses that we used to collect, or the carnations, the roses, in school, we used to just give them out to random people. And a person, older people, younger people, would just be so surprised and happy and go, oh, somebody just gave me a flower. And it was just a moment of joy on another person's face. So I think maybe I would advise a person to do something nice for someone else on Valentine's Day.
Okay. So I'm sure that would make them feel much better. They can get it for themselves as well. Zinju, I know that you, yeah. Can you also what if you could redefine Valentine's Day, what would it represent for you? And also the same question that I asked Salsabel, if assume that there is someone that's listening to you and it's really like, I like Zinju, I like her opinion. I mean, they really want to take your advice or your word for it, and they're just alone with themselves, and they're probably sulking and going through TikTok and saying, God, when would this happen to me? What's that word that you would say to them? What word of advice would you say to them?
Actually, your words just, to be honest, your words just inspire me because I thought Valentine's Day is just for lovers, like people in romantic relationships. So it is not related to me personally. But your words just give me some new perspective, and it is an opportunity for people to express love to anyone they love, not only their lovers but their families and friends.
Okay. They should show love to their families and friends. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you. I'm sure that they've heard it and probably it would make them to feel better. Athma, what's the same question that I'm asking, which is, if you could redefine Valentine's Day for everyone, what would it represent? And also the misconception that it's only couples that gets to celebrate. If you don't have someone for you, so how can you help? How can you help Darice? Let me put my name there. Let me own it. How do you?
It's a day for love. I absolutely agree. Sosabel and Shinju said, you know, the same thing. It's a day for love. I think it can be, again, commercialized just like any other holiday, and people can make money off of it. But I think that, again, show love, spend time with the people that you love. And if, again, like you said, that you're a lonely person, you know, and you are in desperate need of friends and you know, some sort of safe space, then maybe join IHF. Maybe, you know, if you can obviously, you know, be an at-home volunteer or work in one of the centers, or just volunteer in general, or sponsor somebody, or, you know, again, it could be in your community, it could be in your school, it could be at your job, whatever it is. I mean, again, an act of love can just spark another act of love. And I think that that's what we need to focus on. And it could be small. It could be, you know, again, my sister said, it could be a carnation for a random individual. But it can also be, it could be money, it could be time, it could be, you know, baking cookies for a charity, and or again, IHF. You can join IHF. I mean, we have a lot of love to give, so I think that you'll always be welcome.
Thank you. There is something you said. You said love, best love. That's a really nice word. That's a really nice word. I'm gonna write somewhere and quote you, Athma. Thank you. Thank you so much. Diana, the same question to you. I don't know if you have someone to celebrate that day with, but if you're like me, let's assume that you have something to say to people that would feel left out. So what would you say to them? And also, we all know that, or think that Valentine's Day is only for couples. So if you could redefine Valentine's Day, what would it represent?
Okay. I think personally for me, I have spent the last 4 Valentine's Day in church. Yeah, every Valentine's Day in my church, we organized a program. It's still more like a love seminar, but it's just for both the married and the single people. Everybody is enjoying together, and then we talk about relationships, marriage, its challenges, and the way forward. And then we get to celebrate it over food at the end of the celebration. So for me, I feel like that's just what will happen already, because it has been fixed for Valentine, which is on Friday. And then for others that probably they would really love romantic relationships to celebrate them, and then it's not possible, I would say Valentine is just a day to show yourself love, show the next person close to you. It must not actually be a romantic relationship before you can. show love to the next person. You could give to your neighbors, you could give to your family members, tell them you love them. You could give to just anybody you want to give, or you could actually go do a church if you think that's your thing, and just have a good time. Just make yourself feel good, feel happy, whether you are in a relationship or not. That's just it for me.
Thank you, Diana. So, in other words, all Diana is saying is make yourself happy. You don't have to be tied to something to smile or something. You too do something for yourself. Don't feel bad. You can buy something for yourself. You can take
Yes.
yourself out, buy flowers. They would sell for you. Even single people, they sell it to single people as well.
Of course.
So, thank you so
They'll take
much.
your money.
Exactly. They will take your money. They will take your money. So let's talk about, I think this is the last discussion. We're gonna talk about the practicality of love. I think this podcast is going to come out on the 14th of February. So I'm going to speak like I'm talking about, we had this podcast on that day. So we know that love doesn't just have to be one day. So what's one meaningful way we can spread love beyond just today? It's something that has to just keep going. 14 is just Friday in my book. But I'm okay. Other people have their different books, so it's fine. But moving on, other days, what's one meaningful way that we can spread love?
I think one simple way to spread love is to smile. I know it seems very simple, and there are certain days that honestly I have to wake up early in the morning. It's pitch black. I have to commute over an hour to get to my school, and I know I have 6 hours of school, and then I finish, and by the time I come back, and I'm already grumpy, and I'm already sad, and I'm already depressed. But then I go inside the train and everyone has that same expression on their face. Maybe people are working 2 shifts. Maybe people didn't sleep the night before. And so I just go on the train and I smile at a stranger and they smile back. They don't always smile back, but you smile. And, you don't know what anyone's going through. And like Athmar said, one act of kindness or one act of love sparks another. And I think if you smile to a person, they're reassured. They maybe feel better. You just give them that smile and that slight nod that you give to strangers. And I think it makes a person's day feel better. And so I think that's just a pass it on act of love, of just showing affection towards a random stranger. And again, there's many different acts, but I think daily you can incorporate that into your life, or even saying hello. Just smile, say hello, maybe wave, say hello to people that you walk in. When you walk into, let's say, the store, maybe a driver, a teacher, when you say hello and you smile, sometimes maybe they wouldn't say it back automatically, but I think it's a small gesture that really matters in the long term.
Yeah, and Sahabo, the thing with smile is that it also makes one beautiful. So, so I think that we should.
Yes, of course. Yeah, it does. No, it does. There's some people when they smile and their
Yes.
eyes crinkle up, and it's very hard to fake a real smile too. That's why when a person is not genuine and they're doing a fake smile, their eyes are not the same as if a person is really smiling or really laughing. It's very, very hard to fake a smile. So when you just go inside the train and you think of something nice and you smile, and then a person, I feel like their automatic human response is to smile back, and I've seen that happen many times. And again, it's just a very small gesture, very simple. But I think if a person smiles at me when I'm having a bad day, I think that would stay with me for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it just makes you feel much better. I like that. I think I would incorporate it, and I hope that our listeners would too. Jinsu, what about you? What's one meaningful way that we can spread love to ourselves and to others beyond just today?
Yeah, I totally agree. Just some small gestures, because life is hard. Life is so hard. So just some understanding, basic understanding and respect. For example, if you're waiting for a long time in the restaurants, so you may feel annoyed, and you can just have some understanding. Like there are so many people in the restaurants, and the staff, the waiters here are also tired, and they must be they must be tired and like us. So maybe just don't shout at them, and then give them more patience.
Okay. Okay, Zinju, thank you so much. Thank you. I completely agree with you. Athma, what about you? What's one meaningful way that we can spread love beyond just today?
All those examples are beautiful. Again, my sister and I share basically a brain, so it's exactly what I was going to say. I would expand on that and say compliments are amazing. I think just receiving, especially from strangers, receiving a compliment from a stranger is just so random. But really it can kind of uplift you in a way, especially for girls, even for guys, because I think that girls tend to compliment other girls, but sometimes guys don't receive any compliments. So if you just randomly say something like, oh, you have a wonderful hat, or I like the way that you did this. I mean, some sort of compliment can also make anybody feel special. And even jokes, I think it could be just like trying to kind of maybe make somebody laugh, or obviously smiling is wonderful. But even if it's like kind of playfully teasing, or again, maybe trying to, just kind of get somebody to smile or laugh about something, I think that, again, you have that lighthearted atmosphere that just makes you feel good. And once again, all the examples that we've said are social. So again, it's this idea that we want to make sure that as humans, we're connecting, and we're also kind of reaching out. And that could be, again, messages online. It could be in the WhatsApp group chats that you have. It could be the random strangers in the trains and the buses that you take in the morning. It could be to the kids that you work with at the centers. I think especially with kids, sometimes it's really funny. Like, you can say something and they'll start also complimenting you back. It's hilarious. It makes everybody feel so good.
Yeah, I like compliments. I like giving and receiving compliments.
Yeah, me too.
Because you will just be having, like, sometimes you just leave your house in a bad mood. You don't even remember to check your dress, and someone just says, "Oh, you smell good, you look good," and you just feel better. So I completely agree with that would work. What about you, Diana?
Okay, I'm here. So I would really like to stand with what the last person just said, because I think I did an experiment one time. I woke up one day and decided that I'm going to compliment every single guy I met on the road, whether they're fine, they're not fine. I must compliment something about their dress, their looks, or anything whatsoever. And that particular day, I felt good doing it. They felt good. They smelled and felt good. And I too, I felt very much good doing that for that person, those persons, the whole day. So I would actually say that yes, complimenting the next person would do a good job on Valentine's Day. And also you could actually do gifting. A random person, it doesn't have to be someone something as little as that can cost you almost nothing. You could gift, be it your old clothes, anything whatsoever. You should try gifting on Valentine's Day. Yeah, it will make you feel good.
Yeah, love doesn't have to be expensive or grand. It's mostly sometimes the little things that count. So maybe I'll try that as well. I'll try that. So before we go, I really appreciate you guys. You've given really, really strong points that I myself personally have learned. And that's the thing with podcast, because you get to hear from people, you get to dig into their minds. It's when people talk, it's when you conversate with people that you actually know how they think. And I think that today I've learned our love languages, so that I know how to moving forward. I've also learned that I shouldn't go to Paris. I mean, there's nothing for me there. And I've also learned that love bets love. I've also learned that I should give compliments, I should smile. I've learned a lot of things. So I'm going to also ask each of you to share one lesson about love that you want our listeners to remember.
listen about love. Well, I mean, we're here in Paris, so if you want to come visit us, hopefully we're motivation enough. I mean, I think love love is so complicated, but it's very simple. I think you can't lie about love. You can't pretend about love. You know when you feel it, and put as much love into the world as you can. Love as much, because it's something that you can't buy. So I think that just make as many friends, make your family feel as loved as possible. Go out there and hug your mom, give a kiss to your siblings, tell someone randomly on the street that their hair looks nice. I mean, of course you have to mean it, but I think that just I think putting love into the world is so important. This is a world that is filled with hatred and division and conflict right now, and we don't need more of that. I think that people who have so much love in their hearts, like you all do, I feel like we just need to show it a little more. You know, love does conquer all. I mean, that's something that's very important to me. So I think that we should just show as much love as we can, and keep the hope of love alive.
Oh, possible. Like, yeah, definitely love conquers all. I've taken that note of that. Also, Sassable, I forgot to mention, maybe we would like wish everyone happy Valentine's as well. So, Sassable, can you wish our listeners a happy Valentine?
Yes, of course. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone in the world, and everyone listening to you all, the IHF family, and the future IHF volunteers, hopefully, and to everyone just listening. Have a spectacular Valentine's Day. Do whatever you want. You're not beholden to any rules of the Valentine's Day spirit. Just do one kind thing for another person and yourself. You know, love to yourself is very important as well. Love yourself.
Okay, Sassable has done her path, and I'm sure that Sassable will really appreciate you. Thank you so much for all your views, your insights, your advices. You're really amazing, and like I said earlier, you're so patient, and I've also learned so much from you, and you have a great voice. And happy Valentine's Day to you in advance. Sinju, what about you? What's one lesson about love that you want our listeners to remember? And also, please wish them a happy Valentine's Day.
Okay. I'm not sure whether I'm mature enough to give others advice, but based on my own experience, I want to share my own opinions. Like, love is something that people have to learn, like your career and like your study, and it's not a very people may naturally love each other, but they may not how to love each other. So it is definitely something that deserves to be learned, and people have to adjust the way that they love each other and make sure that others feel comfortable when they are being loved by you. Sorry, happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you, Sinju. Thank you for taking out the time out of your very much busy schedule and volunteering with IHF. I really hope that we get to, be there for you, and you get to learn and get to make friendship. You're so nice, and you're very, very funny. And you said that you don't think that you're in a position to give, but if you actually listen to everything you've said, you've been dropping gems after gems, and for that, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Athma, please. Is there one lesson, or 2 or 3 or 50 that you love, that you want about love, that you want our listeners to remember?
I think, like my sister mentioned, there's so much hatred in the world. There's so much indifference, which I think is even worse than hatred in the world. And I think indifference and hatred can destroy the world, but love can also rebuild it and save it. So I think love is very powerful. And I think that as long as you have good, beautiful, pure intentions, that's all you need, that will guide you. And I think that's the definition of love. I think, once again, like all the examples that we've evoked in this podcast. I think, yes, do whatever you can to make the world a better place. But at the same time, also, again, it could be at a smaller scale. It could be in your family. It could be with your friend groups. It could be in your society. Because we also tend to take people for granted. The people that we are supposed to love and respect, we also take them for granted. And to the whole family, IHF family, to the world, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you, Athma. Thank you so much. I have lots of things to say about you. Anyway, I'm gonna try. It doesn't really, I think we have some little time. I think that you're very funny and you you're someone that's very thoughtful, and it shows even in the way you speak and interact. And I'm glad that you're a part of us now. I mean, if you weren't, I'd be so jealous, but you are, so it's calm. I really appreciate everything that you're doing and how you've come on in a short period of time, and you've just helped us so much. It would have been a big task for the team, but you've come in and you've blended very, very fast with little to no training, and for everything you're doing and for the things that you're going to do. Thank you so much, and a happy Valentine's Day to you as well. Diana, what's one lesson about love that you want our listeners to remember and also wish them a happy Valentine's Day?
Okay, all right. So I would say after all of this has been said, I want you to, whatever love means to you personally, don't care about society standards of love. Whatever love means to you and to those around you, please show it to yourself. Show it to them that this is what love means to me. Don't care about whatever every other person defines love for you. And then also, this is me wishing you a happy Valentine's Day. And I wish you the best. Guys.
Thank you, Diana. A happy Valentine's Day to you. And also, thank you also for being a part of our little team. We call ourselves family, and I hope that you learn from us while we also learn from you. And you've given some really important points that we should live by, and we really, really appreciate that. In summary, I think I've already said everything that I want to say. I'm really grateful to each and every one of us. I hope that we have a beautiful Valentine's Day filled with love, filled with laughter, filled with everything amazing. And I hope that we show ourselves the same love that we show to other people, and all the love that we give out, it comes back to us in tenfold. And thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Keep spreading love, and we're gonna see you next time. I am Darice, and my guests were Sasabal, Athma, Zinju, and Diana. Thank you so much, guys, and have a nice evening.